It's once again that time of the year, Legends Festival time.
Yes! Come to Papa!
And this year, it's actually starting a bit earlier than usual with reveals and stuff on the 21st of November. Now, of course, everyone is excited for the newest character scheduled to drop. And so, as always, we're going to be going over every unit we can potentially see for this year's festival. Now, we do have some hints here and there that could be specific to certain characters. But as we get further into the game's lifespan, it gets harder to predict what kind of units we can potentially see since we've practically gotten every major release. So, to keep this video organized, we're going to be splitting it into 3 parts to cover each part of the festival. This means that I'll be following the format of the 6th anniversary, but we'll also keep in mind the format for last year's festival since it's possible that they simply go back to that one. So without further ado, let's start off with part 1. So just like any celebration, part 1 has to start off strong, which is why a double LF step up is the way to go to generate the most hype. Now obviously they can just throw a curveball and drop an ultra to start things off, but I doubt they would do that. Before we start, I do want to touch up on the recent trailer we got for the Legends Festival announcement. What's interesting is that the trailer starts off with characters clashing as it flashes through all the fights we've seen in the anime, such as Goku versus Frieza, Gohan versus Cell, Gogeta versus Omega Shenron. So clearly all these clashes are some that we've seen in the show. We even see Gohan versus Gamma 1 since they fought in Superhero. And then it ends with something interesting. This is your spoiler warning for things that happen in the manga. It ends with UI Goku versus Beast Gohan. Now for those who aren't aware, UI Goku actually did fight Beast Gohan in a sparring match in the manga only. So it's pretty interesting that they added this in the Legends trailer since they never take anything from the manga. Now to be honest, I don't think this really means anything. I don't really think this means we're going to be getting manga content in the game, but it could potentially hint at a UI Goku versus Beast Gohan Part 1 for Legends Festival. Do you understand how insane that would be? Now, of course, this would be insane for them financially, and honestly could be the one thing that could match the 6th anniversary Part 1 in terms of hype. Since we haven't gotten a new UI Goku in over 2 years, and since they seem like they want to drop a Beast Gohan every year, this could actually be plausible. One other thing I wanted to add is that the Japanese version of this trailer also has some live action sequence in the trailer, basically a fighter wrapping his hands getting ready to fight. Now the last time they did this was actually during the 6th anniversary where the live action sequence were pointing towards the fusion mechanic. This could obviously just be a hint of someone gearing up for the festival, but it could also hint towards UI Goku because we see his back turn, which is also comparable to UI Goku's iconic back turn, but honestly this probably is reaching at this point. Still, this is a pretty crazy prediction and the probability is a bit low, but it's something worth mentioning. I personally do think we need a new MUI Goku in the game, but I strongly believe we will get one as an Ultra during the 7th anniversary instead. With Beast, they've already dropped 2 at this point, and other than the manga, he doesn't have much going for him. So honestly, the next time we see a standalone Beast Gohan, I would expect him to be an Ultra, which I don't think we're ready for at this moment. Please don't prove me wrong. Now, the most likely option to see for part 1 is something that's been long overdue, and it's tag Goku Black and Zamasu, potentially even with the Synchro Gauge into Fusion Zamasu. At this point, it's been close to a year and a half since our last future release, which was LF Perfect Cell, and it's pretty insane that we haven't gotten a buff for this tags ever since. Not only do we need this tag unit in the game since it's a very anticipated tag unit, but we still don't have a regular LF Fusion Zamasu non-corrupted. For me, this is like the most obvious choice to start off the festival, so if we don't see some sort of future buff, I'm actually gonna be shocked. They can also do some pretty solid 1% sparking units like a new Rage Trunks, maybe even a revival version, since we also only have 1 Rage Trunks in the game, and he dropped in the 2nd anniversary. Now for the 2nd LF, I know we talked a bit about Beast Gohan, but if they were to drop another LF version of Beast Gohan, the only way I can see it happening is as a tag unit alongside Orange Piccolo. Now this would technically be a Legends original unit, but at the same time not necessarily because they did fight together in the climax of Superhero, albeit it was really just Piccolo holding down Cell Max for Gohan to launch his special beam cannon. If they do go with the Legends original route, it would most likely be a double special beam cannon like from Xenoverse, and if they go the canon route, it would simply be another special beam cannon LF, only this time you have Piccolo hop in to hold down the enemy. Either way, it has to be a tag unit or else I don't really see another standalone LF Beast Gohan. Now the final thing I want to add as a potential part 1 is of course fusing Vegito Blue and fusing Super Gogeta, basically mirroring the part 1 of the 6th anniversary. Now I'll be the first to say, as a Fusion Warrior main, I personally do not want to see this. The 6th anniversary was basically the greatest celebration for Fusion Warrior mains, and they dropped way more fusions than I thought, but I wouldn't want them to just run through every possible fusion they have in the span of a year. Let Fusion Zamasu be the only one and honestly just call it a day. I figured I should add this possibility simply because we know how Legends like to mirror festival and anniversary when it comes to fusions. They've done this so many times over the past few years. Now, with all that said, let's move on to part 2. Now, for part 2, it's always a bit difficult to say what could drop because they're always almost random. Usually, you would want to see what they hint in the weeks before part 2 starts, and you can get a better idea going in, but now we just gotta guess. We tend to get more movie-related buzz for part 2 of these massive celebrations, but there isn't really many things left from any movie that could be hype enough for festival. One that obviously comes to mind is maybe a tag Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, but that would be yet another tag Goku and Vegeta from that movie right after the anniversary, and I think that's a bit too soon. Sticking with Goku and Vegeta though, we can get a tag Super Saiyan version from the Metal Cooler movie, which is something that many people have wanted, or even just a Super Saiyan Goku from the first Cooler movie since we don't have an LF version of him either. There's honestly a lot of Super Saiyan versions of Goku that we don't have as an LF, so they can really mess around with that if they really want to. But honestly, I would rather them just go the route of a Legends original unit since it would literally be a year since the last one, Goku and Bardock. And when it comes to Legends original unit, it can really be anything, right? So I'll just list the same ones I mentioned for the 6th anniversary video. Tag Future Trunks and Future Gohan. Tag Future Gohan and Super Saiyan Blue Goku from Xenoverse. Tag Frieza and Cooler would be awesome as well. And just like I said, the list goes on and on since the possibilities are endless. Now, I obviously have to preface this. If they go for a Legends original unit, please switch out the banner format. This was the worst banner we've gotten in recent history, and it's just absolutely terrible. So if they were to go with another Legends original unit, they have to switch out this banner. Like, please, you cannot drop this banner again. Now, before we move on to part 3, I also want to mention the possibility of part 2 being Daima related. As you already know, we've been getting some Daima characters as the anime has been airing, and it's highly possible that by the time part 2 rolls out, we can have some big moments happen in the anime that can warrant an LF unit of some sort. Getting the units as they air in the anime would be great at capitalizing the hype of the anime, and would honestly be the best move for them to maximize profits, because that's when the hype level for these characters are at an all-time high, which would make people want to summon for them more. Now, this is all just assuming there's hype moments in Daima by the time part 2 rolls out, but I figured I should add this in because it's worth mentioning since Daima is the latest anime of Dragon Ball that we have currently airing. Now, with all that out of the way, let's finally move on to part 3. Now, finally, the big ultra for part 3 of the celebration. Unfortunately, we can't bank on a fusion ultra like Gogeta and Vegito since we pretty much got all of them. So to start things off, I think a great option would simply be Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku. This is what I was actually expecting for the anniversary instead of Gogeta, but we ended up getting Gogeta and shit was crazy. But Goku would make a lot of sense since last year we got Ultra UI Sign Goku, and he kind of covers the final transformation for Goku in Super, right? Albeit the initial stage of it. And then Super Saiyan 4 would cover the final transformation for Goku in Dragon Ball GT. It would also make sense with the timeline because the first UI Sign Goku that we got in Legends was dropped during Legends Festival 2020. And the first Super Saiyan 4 Goku was dropped during the same time slot of Legends Festival, except it was just never called Legends Festival. The naming actually started in 2020. So him getting an Ultra for the festival would actually work out quite well. Outside of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I guess I can also add Ultra MUI Goku, since we did get UI Sign last year, and like I mentioned, we haven't gotten a new MUI Goku in a while, the last one being LF MUI Goku we got during the 4th anniversary, over 2.5 years ago. But I'm honestly gonna stick with him dropping for the 7th anniversary, since that would make the most sense in terms of what they've dropped for the anniversary so far, and what kind of Ultras we've been getting for the anniversary. Other than him, one character I saw people mention a lot was Ultra Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now, I do think he definitely deserves an Ultra, and it would make a lot of sense since his movie did drop around the time of Legends Festival, as well as his first LF version who dropped back during Legends Festival 2020. But me personally, I don't think he's quite hype enough to be the closer of the festival. He works better as a complementary character alongside a Gogeta Blue, or simply an Ultra that would drop outside of the big celebration. So unless they also Zenkai the original Gogeta Blue, which at this point I won't even hold my breath, I don't really think he would be worthy of being the Ultra for this festival. But hey, if they want to drop him alongside Gogeta Blue Zenkai, I'm all for it. Another pick I wanted to add, which would be kind of crazy, is Ultra Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Easily one of the most deserving Ultras, and I think it would be hype to have him with his transformation being one of the most hype moments ever in Dragon Ball. And even with Majin Buu Saga getting so many buffs, why not just throw another to close out the year? The first half of the year, we've been getting non-stop GT buffs, and we ended the anniversary with a final GT buff in the form of Ultra Gogeta 4, even though we got Omega Shenron after that. And then the second half of the year, we got a lot of Majin Buu Saga buffs, so why not close the year with another Majin Buu Saga buff in the form of Super Saiyan 3 Goku? It's just a wild pick there. I do think Super Saiyan 3 Goku deserves an Ultra down the line, and for being one of the most hype moments in all of anime, I think he can work out for the festival. Now, the last pick I have would be, of course, Ultra Beast Gohan. And obviously, this would only happen if we don't get any sort of Beast Gohan during the previous 2 parts. Now, I know I said we weren't ready for this to happen yet, but honestly, there isn't really much I can think of that can genuinely be a hype money-making ultra they could drop for the festival. They honestly might just say, fuck it, we want money, and drop this monster, and it would be insane. So don't underestimate these motherfuckers when it comes to making money. Keep in mind, we got Super Vegito, Gogeta Blue, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, all in one celebration. So at this point, anything goes with what they release for these celebrations. And with that, we're going to be concluding this Legends Festival 2024 prediction video. Definitely let me know what you guys think of these possibilities, and also let me know what characters you want the most during the celebration. We're only 2 weeks away from peak, and I can't wait.